Hey everyone, this is Mitch from GamerRN. Over Christmas, my wife got me a copy of the Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. Now, I played the original briefly on the Xbox 360, but I didn't play it a lot. It was at a time when I was constantly getting sucked back into Call of Duty. But when I got this copy of the game, I knew at some point I wanted to play this game this year and finally see what all the hype was about. To finally figure out why this game was talked about so highly. Before we get started with the video, thanks for stopping by. If you enjoy the video, feel free to hit the like button. Comment any games or series of games that you want to see me platinum or 100%. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you enjoy the content. Lastly, check out my channel for similar reviews. Thanks for watching. The original Dead Rising was released back in 2006 for the Xbox 360. The Deluxe Remastered was released late last year. You play as photojournalist Frank West as he visits a small town of Willamette. But Frank is trapped in the mall by thousands of zombies. And I mean thousands. Frank must uncover the truth about the zombie outbreak before a rescue helicopter arrives in 72 hours, where you have the opportunity to rescue other survivors, take down psychopaths, or just overall lay waste to zombies. But that's the glory of this game. You can play it however you want. If you don't want to rescue anyone, you don't have to. If you want to ignore all the psychopaths and let them do whatever they want, you can do that. The game also has a few different endings that the players will be able to experience, as well as an infinity mode where you can attempt to survive as long as possible in the zombie apocalypse, but your health will constantly be draining. So you'll have to find food quickly. Now that you have some background info on the game and you know me, let's jump into the platinum journey. To start off this platinum, we started by looking up a guide to get a rough estimate on how long the game would take. Looking at power picks, it looked like the game would take about 25 hours. So with that, I wanted to give myself about 14 days to finish this game. Now let me start off by saying I don't really remember anything from this game previously. So I was going to be more than likely following the recommendations of the guide from PowerPicks. So the first thing they recommend is grinding the 53,000 zombie kills. So I had my first objective of my first playthrough. Jumping into the game on day 1, I was introduced to Frank, who was being flown into Willamette. We had to fly in since it seemed the military had the town entrances blockaded. But also witnessing some things happening in the streets, like people getting attacked and saying hello on camera, I decided to start taking photos along the way. After that, the pilot landed me on the roof of the mall, and I was introduced to a man named Carlito. The guy seemed a little suspicious, and he asked me if I was there to report the events, but he was nice enough. I even snapped a photo of him, and got the first trophy, photojournalist. With that trophy, we're locked into this run, which means we have to finish this game no matter what now. I made my way into the security room, and I witnessed the lady getting pulled out of her car by some random guys. Did I just witness a crime? I made my way into the entrance of the mall and met with some other survivors. Saw a pretty girl and got informed that there were zombies, but the pretty girl, wait, zombies? While this was all happening, I did receive the trophy Welcome to Hell for entering the Willamette Mall. I started snapping photos thinking I could experience grind before even jumping into the game, but shortly after that I realized I was getting nowhere, so I moved on. But I did manage to get a trophy for snapping a photo with 50 different target markers in it for the trophy group photo. After this, I was told to start helping with putting up the barricade. I instead was taking pictures of other survivors and eventually got the trophy Portraiture for photographing 10 survivors. After this, the zombies got let in by some nice lady who was looking for a dog, and I made my way to the security office. Now, this is when I finally had access to do whatever I wanted to, and I decided to follow the guide, and I had my sights on the 53,000 zombie kills. I didn't realize how much I was going to regret going for this trophy first. Now, the guide recommended this route first due to the fact that you unlock a very good weapon for achieving this feat. So the best way to rack up that many zombie kills is to run them over with different vehicles all day. The guide on PowerPicks told me it would take roughly 4 hours of grinding the zombie kills to reach my goal. No big deal, right? 4 hours? Wrong. I was grinding things out like this over the next 5 days for 20 minutes at a time because I was getting so bored of doing it that I debated quitting this game multiple different times. But I finally achieved it after 6 days total of running zombies over with different cars, and I managed to unlock a few different trophies in the process. Road Rage, Zombie Hunter, Zombie Killer, and finally, Zombie Annihilator. Each one of them was for grinding a certain number of zombie kills. And like I said, this grind was the sole reason that this game took me so long to finish. I could not just sit down and do it all at one time. I kept getting bored. It wasn't even like I started playing a different game either. I just watched Netflix or anime instead of doing this grind because I was so bored of it. But anyways, during my grinding, I also managed to get a trophy, Free Fall, for dropping from a height of at least 16 feet. Now, fast forward back to day 6 and finally just committed and finished the zombie kills. Well, I knew I had some time left within this playthrough, but there was no chance for me to progress the stories or complete any survivor or psychopath related trophies. So I opted for another grind fest and started taking pictures of all the PP stickers within the game. But this did net me a trophy PP photo. Now, real quick, there's 100 photos that you have to take, and I managed to snap 97 of them on this playthrough. I was unable to get to the ones from Movie Land Annex, due to the fact I did not progress the story enough to force the cultists to spawn and kidnap me. Also, when I was in the maintenance tunnels, I snapped photos of 3 trucks, or at least I thought I did, but turns out I was missing one. And I couldn't figure that out until a lot later into this run. The last thing I managed to achieve on this first playthrough was change into 5 different costumes for the trophy, Sharp Dresser. With that, the helicopter was finally here to pick me up and me alone, and with that we got the trophy 3-Day Survivor, for finishing our first playthrough of the game without dying. That practically concluded the first week of me playing, which literally wasn't even me playing the game. I'd be lying to you if I didn't think about quitting this game a lot during that grind, because of how bored out of my mind I was. But thankfully I didn't. Anyways, let's move on to day 7 and the second week of the Platinum grind. Day 7 started off with us jumping back into our second playthrough with Frank West, but this time we were going to be focusing on saving 50 survivors as well as finishing all the cases. But when we started the second playthrough, we were awarded with the trophy, Never Give Up. Shortly after that, while grinding through some cases and rescuing survivors, I managed to hit level 50 and got the trophy, Level Max. I ended up finding my first novelty mask while rescuing a survivor, and I had remembered while looking through some of the miscellaneous trophies that I needed to place novelty masks on zombies' heads 10 different times, and got the trophy, Costume Party. While continuing the story, I did manage to encounter my first psychopath, and it happened to be a clown with chainsaws, which really isn't scary, but it definitely is creepy. But after defeating him, I got the trophy, Self-Defense. I also snapped a picture of him as I was working towards another trophy at the time, but that will come later. After defeating the clown, I managed to rescue a survivor who also worked in the mall previously before the outbreak, and he showed me a secret passage to get from one side of the mall to the other within mere seconds. Because I discovered the secret passageway, I got the trophy, Mall Worker. The entire playthrough I had also been defeating the cop zombies and picking up their guns and just randomly firing off bullets. Eventually, I managed to fire 300 bullets for the trophy, Bullet Point. After continuing the story and encountering a few more psychopaths here and there and taking photos of them to remember them by, I eventually got the trophy, Psycho Photo. I also managed to get a photo of a guy eating a pie and snapped a photo which managed to get me 10,000 PP, and that got me a trophy, the Artiste. There was also a trophy for snapping photos of at least 30 survivors, which I had been working on here and there if I remembered to do it. Eventually, I did manage to get the trophy, Census Taker. Next, I had survived for a few days and I saved a woman from a group of weirdos who had stuffed her in a box. So I just started killing them all off whenever I saw them, and eventually I defeated 100 of them and got the trophy, No Thank You. Now it was getting late, so I decided to call it a night and I would pick it up on day 8. Day 8, I managed to get on late after my daughter went to bed, and I started off with me finally getting one of the trophies that I had been working on towards the entire run, which was answering 30 different transmissions. After continuing the story for a bit, and at some point, I managed to get the trophy Marathon Runner, which was for covering a distance of 26 miles throughout the mall. I eventually faced a few different psychopaths that were a part of the story, and after defeating them, I managed to get the trophy Punisher for defeating 10 psychopaths. I also managed to get to the part in the case files where I got to head back into the maintenance tunnels. Now, remember earlier in the video when I brought up the fact that I didn't get all the PP stickers and I missed one in the tunnels? Well, when I got the chance to go back down there to get rid of some bombs that were placed, I managed to find the missing PP sticker and totally ignored the bombs for a bit and snapped the final picture for the trophy PP Collector. I also got to a piece of the story when one of the agents within the mall, a man named Brad, became a zombie and I had to end him as a favor, which netted me the trophy Snuff Shot B. Also, his partner later became a zombie and hit me with a good old jump scare that surprisingly freaked me out because I wasn't expecting it. But I got the trophy Snuff Shot J. After this, I checked my notebook and had collected all the portraits and got the trophy full set. I was also finally introduced and saw the special forces that had been sent to eradicate the zombies and also take out any remaining survivors that were there, as there needed to be no evidence of this ever happening. But there was 2 trophies that revolved around the special forces that I had figured I wanted to work on as soon as I could. So I started off by defeating 10 special force soldiers for the trophy Legendary Soldier. But I had defeated those 10 with my fist, which meant if I could beat 20 more of them with my fist, I could also net another trophy. After some time, I finally managed to get it, and I got the trophy Karate Champ. Now, still on day 8, I finished rescuing all 50 survivors I needed and finished all the case files. However, I still had some time remaining in this run, since it was the final day and I still had 12 hours in the game until the helicopter would be arriving. So, let's work on cleaning up some of the remaining trophies. So, first I went to Alfresco Plaza, and I found a giant parasol, and I knocked over 10 zombies for the trophy Raining Zombies. Next, I grabbed a bunch of chairs and started swinging them on some zombies, and after some time and breaking a few different items, I got the trophy Item Smasher. Next, I found a rocket launcher, and I knew there was a trophy locked behind taking out a certain number of enemies with the rocket launcher, so I started hoarding them. And after making my way to Leisure Park, I noticed there was a helicopter, which I tried shooting down with the Mega Blaster and also a machine gun, but no luck. So I decided to try my luck like it was Call of Duty and tried shooting a rocket launcher at it, and I managed to hit it on the first try and got the trophy Helicopter. I then decided there really wasn't much else I could do on this playthrough with the time I had left. I mean, I had 16 trophies left until the Platinum, so I decided to fast forward to finish the second playthrough, and after finishing it and not escaping, I managed to get 2 trophies. The first one being Overtime Mode, for unveiling all cases and being at the heliport at noon. The next one being Humanist, for successfully managing to get 10 survivors out of the mall. Now, it was like 3 a.m. in the morning, and I was tired, so I decided to call it a night. Now, on day 9, I decided to wake up early to get some time in before my wife and daughter both woke up. And with my dog next to me, I decided to get started. Now, I was in overtime mode now, and I needed to somehow manage to make it out of the mall with Isabel with me. The catch is, I'm going to be turning into a zombie soon. But Isabel said she can make an antidote for me that can prolong the process of me turning into a zombie. But it won't completely stop it. I managed to get all the items she needed for the serum, and after getting it, I had managed to find a possible exit out of the mall. After getting the serum, Isabel made a perfume for herself so she could try to make her way out of the mall. I guess I was already going to turn, so I didn't really need it either, or she was being very selfish. But we managed to get out and face off against the military and defeated the man in charge, and then overtime mode was finally finished. And I got the trophy Infinity Mode. Also, while finishing overtime mode, I finally managed to get the trophy I'd been working towards the entire time, Saint. I needed to play one last playthrough to get a bunch of trophies I had left, which the big one was escorting 8 female survivors at the same time. Thankfully, the guide I was following did tell me how to go about achieving this, which involved getting rid of most of the survivors at the beginning. So I jumped back in, and when I finally had full reign in the mall again, I ended up meeting up with my first set of survivors, but I needed to borrow his golf club, so I kind of just took it from him. But I did manage to hit a golf ball off the roof for over 100 meters for the trophy Nice Shot. I also managed to take out the convicts in Leisure Park and took their car for the trophy Carjacker. After looking up a YouTube video, I finally figured out how to walk on zombies, and I managed to walk a total of 10 meters on top of zombies for the trophy Zombie Road. After some time, I managed to take out all of the survivors I needed, which allowed me to spawn and escort 8 females altogether. So after completing a few different cases and saving a survivor here and there, I finally managed to get to my final female survivor, which was the lady being kidnapped by the cultists. After defeating them and getting her to follow me, I had 2 trophies pop. The first being the Grateful 8 for escorting 8 female survivors at the same time. The second one to follow was Tour Guide, which was for escorting 8 survivors at the same time. Next, after looking up where to find a bowling ball, I managed to bowl and hit 5 zombies with 1 bowling ball for the trophy Strike. I also had to look up a guide to figure out what 2 juices I had not mixed yet, and after visiting the supermarket and collecting the items I needed, I managed to get the trophy Juice Freak. I also made my way to the parking lot and stole someone's motorcycle. Well, not exactly stealing if there's no one to lay claim to it, right? But anyways, I took the bike and made it to the entrance plaza and drove it off the 2nd floor and got the trophy Stunt Rider. With some time left in this 3rd playthrough, I wanted to go for one more trophy, which was Clothes Horse, which was for trying on all the costumes within the mall. I decided to go back to the security room and look in the closet, and I wrote down an entire list of all the items I had yet to find, and decided to visit each one of those stores. So after about 30 minutes of visiting all the stores, I finally managed to try on all the clothes the mall had to offer. And with that, I got the trophy Clothes Horse. I did end up falling asleep on the couch after this one, but I did manage to get up pretty early on day 10. Now, when starting day 10, I had 3 trophies left. 2 of them for surviving a certain amount of time within Infinity Mode, and the last one for defeating 100 enemies with a rocket launcher, as well as the Platinum Trophy. And then the Platinum Trophy would be ours. Unfortunately, on my last run, I didn't do any of the case files, so I didn't manage to get the Special Forces to spawn in to get the rocket launcher to finish. But I also didn't realize you could get one in Infinity Mode. Add that on top of the infinite durability and infinite ammo magazine, and I managed to take out the remaining 25 zombies with the rocket launcher for the trophy Rampage. Now, I don't want to sit here and bore you with how the whole Infinity Mode went, since it was literally me running around and getting food to survive for time. Basically, if you've never played it before, Infinity Mode drains your health over time, and you have limited food options, blah 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 blah. Look, I spent 2 hours on this. I had the infinite ammo magazine as well as a heavy machine gun that I used to defeat survivors. I also had a guide showing me where all the food items were that were in the mall, so I managed to complete the 5-day survivor after about an hour or so. Another hour to an hour and a half later, I managed to complete the 7-day survivor trophy. And with that, I finally got the platinum. Goodbye, Willamette. And with that, we were finally done. Was it good? Did I enjoy it? Would I recommend it to others? Honestly, the game was a ton of fun, and I definitely gotta say I would highly recommend it to anyone that has never played this game before. I think the only thing I do regret is following the guide. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. I follow the guides mostly to help me achieve a platinum in a timely manner and get an idea of the game. But the thing is that grind for the Zombie Annihilator trophy was an absolute mess, and it irritated me. I really almost quit the game twice, and honestly the only reason I didn't quit was because my wife heard me complaining about it and told me not to quit and I needed to finish it through. So honestly, that is the only reason I didn't give up there. Going for the Saint trophy on the second playthrough was a lot better, but I did feel like I didn't really get to explore the map because I was just going where the guide told me to go. I didn't really get to find things on my own. But when I got to my final playthrough, and even in Infinity Mode, I had a ton of fun because I got to play the game how I wanted to play the game. I wasn't restricted to a certain way. I could do whatever I wanted. I could go to whatever stores I wanted, explore, find different items, take out zombies, not take out zombies, take out survivors if I wanted to. It didn't matter. I didn't have to go face off against all these different psychopaths if I didn't want to. This is definitely a game I can find myself going back to every once in a while and completing a playthrough, or even just seeing how long I can survive in Infinity Mode. But let's talk about the real reason that you're here, which is the Platinum Trophy itself. Once I was able to get past the zombie grind itself, the Platinum was not that bad. And it was super enjoyable to go for the Platinum and experience all those different modes. To be totally honest, if Overtime Mode and Infinity Mode didn't have trophies behind them, I probably wouldn't normally have played them. But I didn't feel like the game exactly forced me to go after them either. There were incentives to do it within the game. Items to make future playthroughs easier and more fun. But anyways, that's my review of Dead Rising Deluxe Remastered. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did make it this far, thanks for watching. Feel free to hit the like button, comment any games or series of games you want to see me platinum or 100%. Feel free to subscribe and check out my channel for other platinum reviews. And I'll see you in the next one.